Bringing you the voice and vision of custom culture and lifestyle, as seen through the eyes of this South Texas duo. Welcome to the Custom Couple. Johnny Jalopy, welcome to the Custom Couple, man.
Well, hey, are we starting?
Yeah, let's get this party started.
That's classic podcast stuff where the guests go, "Oh, are we doing this now?"
Right? I'm so surprised. I didn't know we were doing this.
Wait. I mean, you just had me come on at a specific time, and we're rolling now?
What a coincidence. We both jumped on.
I thought that we were just going to hang out and maybe share some, this was a book club or something to that effect. No? Okay.
Of course. Have you read any good books?
I didn't, no.
Okay. Well, there goes that idea.
Yeah, sorry about that.
What's funny about that, I'm going to throw Sam out on because she loves to read, actually.
Fuck you.
She does. She really does.
She's smart. Okay.
Absolutely.
No.
But one of our first dates, I asked her, in my head it sounded good.
It's not.
But I asked her, "Do you read?"
No. You didn't just say that. The way he looked at me, he's like, "Do you read?" I'm like, "No, I'm fucking dumb. I don't know what any of this shit says. I'm just making it up as I go." And ever since then, I'm like, "No, I don't read. Yeah, I can't see shit."
That's awesome.
But yeah, in my head, I was like asking her, like, you know, do you read? Like, do you enjoy books? Who's your favorite author?
He said it. That's how he thought he said it. She did not.
Way smoother.
Yeah. She took it as, "Can you read?" And
is you dumb?
Yeah.
You sure got a pretty face. Is you dumb?
Is you dumb? Yeah,
I hope so. This will work out.
That's the only way I had a chance.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, man. I had to club mine over the head. Drag her back to the cave.
Where is the lovely wife tonight?
She's under the weather, so she's hanging out. Teaching herself ukulele.
Ooh.
I saw that. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That was her Valentine's gift, so she's super happy.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all right. We're thinking about we're thinking about trying to give a 6-year-old a drum set, and we're like, do we want to do this?
I mean, it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. It gives you an excuse to go grab a really loud electric guitar and
that's exactly
get the family band. Come on, you could be the Partridge Family of
Absolutely.
3.
Absolutely. Because, you know, I've been watching your live feeds for a long ass time. I even have
thanks.
one of your old T-shirts, the Hooker Service. Yeah.
Classic.
Love that shirt. I wear it all the time still. It's falling apart, so I'm going to need another one.
Send me your address, man. We'll get you hooked up.
Shameless, right? Asking for stuff on the show.
Okay.
Right? But
I'm going to expect T-shirts and stickers coming this way.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Trade for trade.
Yeah.
That's right.
But, you know, I've been watching your live feeds for a good bit, and I love the fact that you and your wife get on the live feed and you start drawing and she's talking to everybody and, you know, and getting feedback from the people that are watching you. And you sit there for like, a couple hours almost on some of them where you're just doodling away. Yeah,
there are times where she's like, it's time to go. Wrap this up. We got to work in the morning. No, it's been awesome having her a part of it because when I first started, I watched a bunch of guys doing. When I was like, how do I get a podcast-y thing going that'll be a little unique? But there was a bunch of guys kind of starting at the same time doing little drawing things. And I would hear them either bring a friend on or their wife, and they would kind of read comments, or they would try to read the comments. And no offense to them at all, because none of them are probably listening to me. But it was like, oh, okay. So I'm like, I'm going to bring, my wife is hilarious. So let me get her involved. If I could just get her to be herself, it's going to be solid. The drawing is irregardless, but it worked out great because like immediately we start fighting on on the thing and arguing about movies and quotes and things we did last weekend, and it was hilarious. So whether anybody else is having a fun time, it's a blast.
Oh, that's absolutely the best right there. Of course, we've done the Monday night live feeds for the custom couple, and like we really enjoy that because we'll get on and bullshit for like the first couple minutes. And then we just spend the rest of the time just reading everybody's comments and just
let me ask you this: do you do the thing where you get home from work or whatever you're doing, and you start talking, and it starts going really good? You're like, "Shut up, save it."
Yep, pretty much.
Why are we recording this?
Yeah, pretty much. No, we'll talk about like, oh, we can do this. Oh, and what about this? I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Right? It doesn't feel as
we're wasting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the second time around, the energy isn't there in the conversation, and that's why we started doing a lot of the podcasts where we would just hit record and not tell anybody.
Smart.
Yeah.
That's why we started doing the live shows, because I couldn't like not keep my mouth shut. I would always be excited to talk to the next guest. I'm like, next week we have this person. It's like, you're not supposed to tell them yet. I'm like, but I did.
Yeah. Well, that locks that person into like, you're committed now, pal.
It's like, it's done.
It's on Facebook. It's
That's
real
right.
now.
If you want to disappoint everybody, go ahead and not come. That's fine.
I'll make sure that you get 30 days in Facebook jail for that. Right.
That's right. Yeah, it's awesome to share that time together. So kudos to you guys. I mean, that's really what drew me to check out your guys' podcast. I was like, oh, cool. Another couple getting together. And how does that dynamic work? And to watch how you guys, play off each other has been really cool to watch. So
thank you.
What you're doing is really awesome, and continue it. It's awesome.
Cool, man. We appreciate that a ton, man, because one of the biggest things for us is like the feedback, and like when people dig what we're doing, and like we'll get messages constantly about it, and that's always freaking rad. Like it
Absolutely.
Just really is.
I mean, I gotta say, for us doing this for a year, we have not, and this is gonna open a whole fucking can of worms, we have not received one bad review or one bad comment yet.
Yeah,
well, that's great.
Yeah. I'm waiting for that one asshole to be like, I just wanted to fuck with you. It's like, thanks.
Yeah,
it's gonna come. There's a year in, so it's 5. We're on our 5th year doing it. So yeah, but you know what? Haters are gonna hate.
These are facts. These are facts.
And to be honest, even if I could, it's just time spent together. So
yeah,
it's good times. So continue to do it. It's coming out awesome.
What got you drawing? Like, were you always into art as a kid? And because like your stuff's amazing, man.
I don't read.
But can you read?
A little bit.
All right.
Smidgen. I'm a smart guy for not being able to read so well. But since a little kid, man, I used to doodle a lot. My dad was a budding artist himself, and really what started it was I've told the story a bunch of times, but I'll tell it again because your folks haven't heard it. So my dad was an artist, landscape artist. He was trying to learn how to oil paint. So I think I'm like 6 or 7 years old, and he paints a funny car, like all with fire coming out the side and stuff. And I was like, that is the coolest. This funny car is on fire. And I hung it in my room, and I would look at it, and I just kept thinking about how much I loved cars. From that moment on, it was like cars and motor stuff is where I want to be. And then I just got involved in drawing. My dad would show me drawing and how to draw. I'd get books, and then into school I took art classes and stuff like that. But self-taught, really, I have no formal training as my art. You can tell. It is really not. Yeah, I didn't go to art school like Wiesner or those guys.
Yeah, but I mean, dude, like for real, the stuff that I've seen you put out, and like it's just cool, like the cool hot rods, I
appreciate that.
It's just like absolutely. And then like on your the iPad that you draw on, I love, like I was showing Sam the other night when you were live the other night, we were watching the cool little things where you can like zoom into the picture and then color it in a little bit and add extra details to it. Like
the digital side of the artwork has really been a crazy thing. So when I kind of really started going for trying to do this as more than just a kind of like a side hustle type thing, like I really was like, I want to do something with this. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a twofold question or answer to it. My dad, again, budding artist, never thought his stuff was good enough for anybody to buy, so he would never show his stuff. Nobody knew it. Only the family ever saw his stuff. It's amazing. So when my dad passed away, I was like, you know what? This is it. I'm not gonna do what my dad did and listen to what people say or myself. I'm just gonna do this. And so I made a vow from that moment on. Johnny Jalopy Hot Rod Art was going to happen. Of course, it wasn't Johnny Jalopy Hot Rod Art at that time. It was a bunch of different names. But just like a band, you got to get the name first, right? So I was like, I got to make it happen. So I just started doing stuff, and then of course I met my wife, and she encouraged me. And I remember we were at a local car show. She's like, "Why don't you bring your art with you and show people?" And I'm like, "I don't know about that." She's like, "You need to do it." I'm like, okay, let's do it. So we brought a little table. I brought like 5 or 6 drawings. And the next thing I know, I got people asking me to draw their stuff, and then it was a nightmare after
that. Commissioned art. Oh,
yeah, that's yeah, it's so much more fun. But that's where Sketchy Live came from. Is I was not drawing fast enough to keep up with commission work, so I was like, I got to find a way to get faster. And so that's where I was like, you know what? If I can get a full drawing done in an hour, how awesome would that be? So that's where it came from. I challenged myself to draw fast. And I thought, well, I'll just do it everybody's doing these live things. Why don't I try that? So then that's where it all evolved, was from just trying to get it out there.
What was the first piece that you sold?
Actually, I started off way before drawing stuff. My folks got me an airbrush for Christmas.
Oh, there you go.
In my 20s, right? So I was like, well, what do you want for Christmas? Like, I always want to. It's been my dream to always have an apparel business. Mm-hmm. Like when I was 10, I was making my painting on shirts, trying to make T-shirts to sell to my friends. So I was like, I gotta have it. If I could, I went to the fair and saw the airbrushing of people's names and stuff. I'm like, that's the baddest. So I'm like, how can I do that with cars? So that's where it started. I sold. The guy said, hey, can you airbrush my car? I'm like, I think I can.
Yeah,
so I was like,
not?
okay. Yeah, so I did it, and it came out okay, I guess, and paid me money. And I was like, holy cow, somebody just paid me to do this, and it was so much fun. What if I did this as a job or something? And that's where it started, man. I started doing airbrushing and doing commission work, and then people started or I was doing airbrush, and then someone gave me a digital Wacom pad to do digital art on computers. Well, this is fun, so let me try this. And not a lot of people were doing it, and a lot of guys were giving me shit for it because it's not traditional ink and pen drawing. But who's laughing now?
Yeah.
Because everybody's got to go digital.
Yep.
Yeah, because if you don't go digital, then what do? You draw it on ink and paper, and then you have to upload it to something.
I hate to use the word, I'm not stating facts, but most of the stuff you're wearing, that was probably drawn. Someone might have hand drawn it and then brought it in digitally, sent it to a printer to have a screens done and made. But those guys are doing everything digitally to create those screens. So I was like, why don't I cut out the middleman and learn how to do digital stuff so I don't have to pay someone to take my line drawings and turn them into digital. That's where it started. I'm like, how can I save money?
Yeah.
That's a smart way of doing it, though, because then you don't have to wait.
That's why I do my own T-shirt stuff with transfers. I was like, yeah, I could pay a shit ton of money to have stuff screen printed. But hell, back in the 60s and 70s, everybody had transfer type T-shirts, and nobody ever complained as long as the design was cool.
Right.
So I was like, look, I'm just going to do that. It's way cheaper.
And you know what? As in anything in life, whether it be drawing, whether it be old cars, whether it be, there's always those guys that walk around and puff out their chests that they're the biggest and baddest and best thing that ever happened to it. And they've got one thing, and it's like, there's also the fact that it's 2022 now, and things have come a long way, and to make a business out of things like this, you kind of got to go with the flow of digital world, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I was super grateful. There were a handful of guys that were still traditional artists that still gave me help when I asked, or gave me tips on things to do. So that was cool. So it wasn't totally shut down. The cool thing is those guys didn't see me as like I was a threat or it was a competition. And that's kind of how I felt about the whole thing. There's room for everybody.
Absolutely.
You're absolutely right. As we progress the culture, things have to change. We can harken back to the traditions of the way we do stuff, the way we do design cars, the way we build cars, the way we dress, all those kinds of things, nodding to the culture of old. But things do have to progress at some point, And I'm not going to hate on somebody because they're doing something that's maybe new. Like even guys that are even doing more of that muscle car modified, even during the rice burner era. I wasn't mad at those guys. I was like, at least that dude's out there working on a car. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Someone's doing something.
Absolutely. I had a guy named Brian Darwis on our show early last year. He came on and we talked and he actually brought up that same point. Was like that kid that can afford a Honda Civic. That's what he can afford right now. But, working on that could give him the confidence to go and say, I fixed this. Let's move on to something else and move on to something bigger, something cooler.
How badass would it be if one of those guys that has a traditional hot rod sees that, right? The kid with the rice burner car, whatever, and it's cool to him. And that guy goes, you know what? Maybe when I can afford to buy Model A, because those are cheap, right?
Of course. Sam's gonna buy me another one.
Yeah. Whew.
I can't find another one for as cheap as I do.
Dreams, man. That's my dream. But anyways, so that's like me. I'm rolling around in a 66 VW with all the fenders off it because I can't afford, 32 Ford, but it's the closest thing I can afford to do it. But hey, I love the car. It gets me where to go. I wish I could afford those other things. I have a little car, 51 Chevy that I'd love to turn into a custom. I got dreams, but sometimes the money don't happen. You know what I mean? So I'm certainly not going to squash someone else's dreams if they're trying to make whatever they're trying to make happen, though.
Absolutely, yeah.
We got to bring everybody with us.
That's a damn good point. Absolutely, Johnny. What do you do for a day job?
I'm actually a retail manager.
A retail?
Really?
Yeah.
No, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, I manage.
It's good times working every weekend
and
watching everybody go to shows. It's fun.
Yeah, I'd imagine as a retail manager, you don't get a whole lot of weekends off.
And the ones that I do, it's always something going on to where it's like, oh man. So it's all good though. The
honeydews.
Well, more of the honey, let's go do type things. When we got free, because she works full time and has a. She's super busy in her field of work, and I mean, when we got free time, man, we're trying to figure how do we make the most of our time together. So,
dude, we absolutely know that.
Yeah, he's a Monday through Friday, and I'm a Tuesday through Saturday. So it's like, all right, Sunday's the one day that we can do something together, and if we fucking sleep the whole day, we're like, damn it.
Yeah.
Like there goes our whole day. I'll see you next week.
Sometimes those days just sleeping. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
No, sometimes we just look at it and we're like, okay, like that's what we did for his birthday just passed, and. I was like, what are we gonna do? And he's like, I'm fine with sleeping. I was like, shit, I'm so happy you said that. Let's go to bed.
Yeah. We slept until we were done sleeping.
Sweet.
And then we got up, because the rest of the week it's like alarm clock, ugly ass alarm clock, all every day. So we slept until we were done doing that, and then we got up and went and got breakfast. I mean that was the perfect birthday right there.
Yeah, we get up every day at like 3 or 4 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I feel for you. I don't have to get that early. It's still early, but yikes.
Yeah. So when everyone's like, "Oh, what did y'all have fun last night?" No, we were asleep in bed by like 8:30, 9 o'clock. We got to get up at 3.
We're 106, aren't we? The street lights haven't even come on.
No, I'm like 5:30. That's good dinner time, right? No, let's do 8. That is too fucking late.
Yeah, if we're eating at 8, I might as well just go to bed.
Hey, the great thing is those blue hairs don't mind you hanging out with them, and a little early bird special.
I mean, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, and they got that going on for them because we realized that if you go into restaurants a little earlier, the prices change a little bit.
That's right, baby. I'm a senior. I just look really good.
That's right. So, and then if you park up front, you just walk in with a little bit of a limp, you'll be all right.
That's right. I'm a veteran.
There you go. There you go. Oh, man. Welcome to the Custom Couple. We give you tips on how to get kicked out of places.
That's right.
Oh, man. So what have you got coming up for us? Are you going to put out some new merchandise?
We're always working on new merch. Just found out that I know Menace was talking about it on with you guys. The Barris family, Brent Barris is releasing a new Barris coloring book. I'm also a part of that book, so that's exciting. That'll be coming out soon.
Really?
Yeah, it'll be coming out. I think it's actually on Amazon right now. So I was fortunate enough to be one of the artists that got asked to be involved in that, which was like, really me? Cool. So especially with the lineup of now that I've seen who else got asked, I was like, were you sure? Was this a mistake? But I'm sure I'm on the back cover. It's like all crinkled up. Johnny Jalopy is drawing. No.
What car did you draw for that one?
It was the Beach Boys, the blue Deuce coupe.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah, with the cool spears that come on the side of the body, and yeah, that was a fun one to do. Now, here's what sucks. So I was like, I gotta make sure it looks like the car. I don't want to, go into doing crazy style. And then I just saw Menace post pictures of the car, his artwork. I'm like, well, I didn't know we could go and have some fun with it. Shit. He's got like a dragon and a devil guy, and I'm like, damn it.
Right? Yeah, I think. What did he get?
I guess I didn't ask for the parameters.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I got a good car, so I was
They said draw a circle, and everyone's like, but doing your own interpretation. Fuck! I drew a circle.
Maybe I didn't listen. I was so excited. It's like, Barris? Wait, Barris asked me to do something? Okay.
Right,
This
yeah.
is crazy.
It's all, am I doing it right as you're drawing it?
Yeah.
Tell me if it sucks.
I kept sending him, like, is this good? He's like, yeah, can you just finish it, man? Okay, just making sure.
I just want to make sure, okay?
Oh, man. Yeah,
So that's coming out, and then just waiting for new seasons of Full Custom Garage. I got to be a part of another build this year, which is great. So
that is really cool. I love
more TV time, which is fun.
Yeah, I love seeing your posts when you go out and do stuff with Ian, man. That looks like you're having a ton of fun.
It's so much fun, and this trip was really, really fun. Other than smashing his off-road car, finding the only post in the whole desert to smash into, and I'm the guy that does it.
Yeah. Well, ooh. What?
Nothing like making your friends super, super mad.
I can understand.
It's okay. I hit a pole in my own car in broad daylight, not drunk at all. And I was completely fine. And I was just like, oh, the sun's in mine. I hit a fucking pole.
You're like, what a waste. Why wasn't I hammered?
Yeah, I was like,
really having a good time.
Like, please do not do this to anybody that's listening. But the many times that I've gotten drunk and driven home, I'm like not even knowing how I got home. And then I fucking hit a pole in broad daylight.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to point out the fact that this never did happen. This is just a
right. Disclaimer.
Reenactment. And all the things that were just talked about are not false. Are true.
Yeah.
These happened many years ago.
I'll bill you later for that.
Right. I'm sitting here listening, going, "Fuck! I hope the insurance doesn't hear this."
Yeah, right. You get an email tomorrow. Hey, by the way, I was listening to that podcast, and you guys are great. You guys are great. But what you claimed is not what you said.
Oh, no, I straight up told them that I hit a pole.
What's funny, though, is we're not under Phoenix Insurance yet. So Justin, who does listen to this podcast, has not heard this yet.
Oh.
That happened years ago.
Years ago.
Wink.
It's not on our record. Yeah,
Right.
You don't have to worry about that.
It's all good.
How did you get linked up with Ian and all of them and doing all of that wonderful business?
It is a crazy. Well, it's crazy for me. So way back, remember MySpace?
Oh, I loved MySpace.
Do you
I wish
remember
Tom would bring it back.
the old days when So, anyways, I used to watch all of Ian's videos, the Back from the Dead, all the early videos. And so I was constantly MySpace friending that dude and sending a message. Hey man, I think you're cool. What you do is awesome. Because I had just recently bought my car, and he did a 53 Chevy. So I was like, okay, I got a 51. There's a lot of things I could probably learn from this video. And so anyways, so spend a couple years, probably 5-6 years later, I'm following him on Facebook, and I see a post, and it says you got to give the people what they want, and it was a picture of a drawing that I had done like 4 years before he posted it. And the next thing I know, people who follow me start going, "You're not gonna believe this! Ian Russell just posted one of your drawings. I wonder what he's doing." And then about 5 minutes later, I get in my inbox in Messenger, "Hey, it's Ian Russell. Hey, man, I don't know if you know who I am. I have no idea who you are." Yeah.
Of course not.
Yeah, we're gonna do this thing. I got this TV show thing. I want to know if it'd be cool if we use your artwork for building a car. I was like, yeah. So then he called me and he talked to me. I was talking on the phone with him, trying to be all cool. Yeah, that's great, man. Whatever you want to do, for sure. And I got off the phone. I can't believe that dude is coming. Anyways, yeah.
Right, you're all like giving him advice about it.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you should do it this way.
Played it all super cool. Like, yeah, not a big deal, dude. Yeah, this happens all the time. So, my only request is I'd love to be a part of it in some way, even if I came and just, swept the floor and just to watch. And he's like, yeah, it'd be kind of cool for you to be a part of it somehow. We'll figure it out. And then a couple weeks later, he starts sending me, he's calling me. It's like, hey, man, I was going to do this. What do you think of that? And then eventually, as they got closer to the end of the build, he contacted me. He's like, hey, we'd like to have you come out to California. Because I had moved away I used to live in California.
Yeah.
And I moved out to Florida, and he's like, yeah, we'd like to have to come out. So would you like to do that? I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. So I flew out to California and never met the guy, showed up at the shop. The producer comes out. They're trying to get the car started. And then I go in there, and the rest is on TV history. But it's been a cool friendship ever since, because then I got to hang out with him. Stayed with him I slept on the floor of the shop. It was like totally not like TV you'd think it was gonna be. Like, you know what I mean? It was like hot rod boot camp. It was the best, man. It was the dude was like slept on top of me. It jumped in my sleeping bag. I'm like, is he gonna attack me? Dude, a friendship was born, and it's been amazing ever since.
That's so awesome. 4
cars now we've done.
That is absolutely awesome. Yeah, so it's like, hey, come out to California and be homeless. Sure. Oh.
Yeah, it was. Listen, it was low budget. I mean, we were grilling out every night. We were like cooking pizza on a Weber grill. It was the best, man. 2 or 3 cases of Bud Lights, and it was just all good.
Yeah, you kind of forget about everything else after that point.
It didn't matter. It
did not matter.
I can't even believe I'm a part of this, so that was the cool part.
That's super rad, man.
Yeah.
At some point, we'll end up traveling a bit. We're expecting to travel this year.
Mm-hmm.
So. That's the hard part of what you got, with what you guys do, and what I'm trying to do too, is trying to get to those big shows, because that's how you're going to build your brand, how you're going to build your podcast.
Yeah,
exactly.
Get out where the people are so they can see you, So I totally empathize with your endeavors to try to do. It's hard, especially when you're working full time.
Right? Yeah. When you got a day job.
When you fucking work Saturdays.
And you work weekends.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see every show, you're like, oh, Friday's Saturday. Sunday's the not great. Friday's Saturday.
Yeah. Thursday, like, Friday, Saturday. I'm like, well, fuck, I work all 3.
Right. You're like, oh. And then you see
Sunday's the swap meet, right?
Pictures coming in and all the cool videos. You're like,
yeah, no, I'm so bad. I've told my boss already this year. I was like, hey, just so I'm going to be taking a couple weekends off. And she's like, well, which one? I was like, a couple. Spread out.
So I'll just hand you my calendar. And you see all these dates? Yeah.
All of these colored in, those are the ones I need. It's like back to back. I'm like, oh.
You got to do it, though. It's it's the same way. I think, thank goodness for the TV show stuff has helped with moving the brand a little bit. But definitely, I know if I was to get out to more shows and be more visible, it'd be a huge help. But all you can do is utilize what you're doing, which is, your podcast, social media, and do the best you can. So.
Right. If you were to make it out to any shows this year, which ones would you want to make it out to?
All of them. Like, oh man, when I saw the last of the out there in Pomona that was going on,
Oh, the Grand Nationals.
Grand Nationals. That's a bucket list show. I was lucky enough to make it to Moon Eyes once, and that was freaking badass.
Nice.
I would love it to make it to both of those shows, absolutely. And we're planning on Ventura this year.
Yeah.
So.
That's the crazy. So here's the thing that pisses me off. So like West Coast Custom Show, Santa Maria, California. That's where I grew up. That show, that show was going on when I was a kid, and now it's become this like show when I move. I'm like, this is bullshit. So my home show is like the baddest show.
Is the best of the best now?
Yeah, and I'm like, and everybody's like, hey man, you gonna come down here? And I'm like, I gotta work. This is bullshit. I could stay for free. And it's like, it sucks. So anyways, so Ventura Nationals is another badass show that I'd love to make it to. All the Cali shows, I was fortunate enough and grateful that I got to go out to SEMA because that was badass. I got to go again. It was so amazing. But yeah, I'd love to go to stuff at Texas and your guys' area. All the stuff that was going on before. I know I've been listening to you guys where it's slowly kind of, some of them are happening, some of them still aren't.
Yeah. The thing about it is like there's a lot of shows that are getting scheduled. Like last year, a lot of stuff got scheduled and then taken off the schedule, and then now this year it's on the calendar, but nobody's talking about it.
I think the cool thing about it is that, and it's nothing bad to the older shows, but there's like a lot of new shows that people are starting down here. Yeah. And it's people who are like, hey, like, we love this show, but it hasn't happened for 2 years now. Like, fuck that. We want to have a show. So it's like really making people like come out with these new shows. And it's like really cool because it's like, man, now I kind of want to do it too.
Yeah.
So any way that we can help and support, like, we're like, hell yeah. So like there's one in Conroe, Texas. It's a first show that they're doing. And we're going out to that one. And it's new location, new everything. And it's like, man, this is exciting. Like, that this is inspiring people to do new shows.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like, you think about it, like, Lone Star Roundup's one of the biggest shows.
Right, yeah.
And it started at a football field.
Yep.
Like, and then later, like, the next year it was, like, by a river. And, like, it's just, like, grew and grew. And at some point it made it to the Travis County Expo Center. And there's, like, 2,500 cars in the parking lot. And, like, like, it started somewhere. So, like, now these people are getting, like, a fire under their ass. And, like, there's shows popping up at all these little spots around here in South Texas. And it's, like, we're living for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the ones that seem to be the most successful are the ones that kind of combine everything: music, cars, culture stuff, art stuff. That's the part, I noticed. It used to be when I was coming up, there was so many shows that had like featured art gallery and a thing, and it seems like a lot of that's kind of gone away too. Where there was even art shows with a car show involved in it too, and I haven't really heard much of that stuff going on either since. I finally rose into where like I might be able to put a piece somewhere,
Yeah.
But
well, if folks are listening to this podcast, which
hopefully they are,
by the numbers that we've been getting lately, as far as downloads and stuff, our producer he's been staying on top of all of our metrics, but. Folks are listening to this. If you got shows coming up in your area and things that you want, promoted and stuff, absolutely send us some messages, send us some flyers. That's the easiest thing in the world. When you run social media, like if you send somebody a flyer, all they have to do is share it. It costs nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And it's the easiest thing to do for, promoting our culture. And so we always encourage all of our listeners, send us your flyers. Let us know what's going on. And if it works out and we can make it to some of this stuff, that's our plans this year.
So what shows are you guys planning to hit?
We are going to be going to Beatersville car show. That one is in May.
It's actually Memorial Day weekend, and that car show is actually on the Sunday.
Yeah, I was so excited.
Cool.
It's on a Sunday. I was like, woo! They finally gave me a show.
Yep.
But we're going out to that one, and then we're also planning to go to Evil Shindig. I forgot when that one's in October.
I think that one's October. Yeah, so we got a little bit of time to plan for it and save up some pennies.
I kind of been looking at shows that are like way out there for us because I love our Texas shows, but I want to go to these places that like we haven't really seen a lot of footage for these shows, and looking at the pictures, looking at everyone that talks about them, like, it's like, damn, like, we need to be there. We need to, like, get coverage on these shows.
Now, you guys going as, obviously, you want to go with your podcast and bring people in and do that kind of stuff. So what you're talking about? Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's the hard part. Like, part of me is like, yeah, I'd love to bring a car, but then you got to do it. But then if I vend, then there's the vending thing. So that's the hard part too. Is like, I want to be a part of the show, but also be a part of the show. You know
See, well, that's where the fun is. I get to compete in the pinup contest there for that part, and then we do the custom couple part, because then they're like, oh, who's that girl? And I'm like, here's my husband. We do a podcast.
Exactly. Yeah, we just recently like kind of like fell into a groove lately about how to like promote it, and because it's hard to talk like about yourselves.
Yeah.
It's really like, it's not something that people naturally do a lot of times. And just recently Sam was talking to some ladies at one of the shows, and they were like, how did y'all get together? And it's like, oh, we do a podcast. Listen to this podcast and you'll hear all about it.
And they're like, oh, that was smooth. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You got to definitely you got to be bringing stickers and hats and all your apparel stuff, and just be like, here you go. This podcast is awesome. Come listen. Yeah, you got to self-promote for sure.
Absolutely. You know what the next part is going to be is that we get the custom couple logos as drawn by Johnny Jalopy.
Hey, let's talk about it.
Shit, I'll make that. I'll make that shirt.
Make some trades for commercials or something.
Oh, that'd be really cool. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We'll figure out that. We can make that happen.
Listen, you're a growing podcast. I'm all about, and that's the thing too, and I'm sure you're experiencing this too. As you're in this, there's the side that there are some folks that love to help others, but then there's a lot of folks that are like, oh, yeah, I don't really. You're like asking people who do podcasts, and they're like really closed mouth about wanting to give out secrets. It's hard sometimes. That's the way art is sometimes. I'm like, hey man, how do you what program you use? And they're like, oh, I don't really use. Like, you're a liar.
Yeah. No, there was just like Hometown Hot Rodder podcast, and then the Chopper couple, correct? Yeah. So
couple Texas podcast.
They
popped
asked
up.
us like about our setup and everything. We're like, oh, we use this.
That's
if you want to do this, like, and they're like, oh my god, thank you. And then like we thought about it. We're like, man, you get like to think like people really are scared to share stuff like that. And I'm like, like start your own thing. Like there's enough room for everybody to do their own thing.
And think about the fact that you're helping other people. That just proves they probably looked at you and went, wow, they're awfully confident. Their show must be really, they must be really on top of it to be that confident to give us information.
Yeah, we're that good. We are fooling everybody.
That's what I'm saying, but listen, there's
you got someone
wrong.
who can't read, that's why.
Yeah, even if you're not sure how good you are, when you're out doing your thing, you're like, yeah, we know what we're doing. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, no, I do that all the time. When people are like, man, y'all sound really good. Like there's like some ladies that we're interviewing soon for the podcast, right? And they're like, oh, how do you get comfortable? And I'm over here like, man, they don't hear me like 20 minutes before we start, and we're like, I don't know what the fuck to say. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to start it. I'm like, fuck. And then I'm like, oh, hi. And I'm like, man, you just gotta fake it till you make it.
That's right. You guys are naturals though, so you're good to go.
Hey, we appreciate that, man. We appreciate you being on tonight, man. We absolutely would love to be doing some work with you soon. So we'll talk about that. So, is there anybody that you'd like to throw some shout outs to that got you to this point?
Well, gosh.
His lovely wife.
Of course. My wife, Ity-B. Holding Sketchy Live. Yeah, let me do the self-promotion first.
Yeah.
Hold on. Sketchy Live every Monday night on Facebook. Come watch us draw some cool hot rod stuff. And you'll get to hear my wife, Ity-B, talk about funny stuff and make fun of me and hear us argue a little bit. It's fun. It's a good time. But we've got we have the Army, man. There's a bunch of people that have been ride or dies since we started who have been hanging out, and they become the Army, the Jalopy Army. And
I love it.
We got folks that are like traveling to meet each other who have met on Sketchy Live, which is really cool. So
that is cool.
That alone has been, oh my God, really? That's happening? So that's cool. Yeah, Nate Greco's one of the guys from the beginning. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Another person go if you want a great guy that's in the culture, tattoo artist who started in art and is now a phenomenal tattoo artist. He lives here in Florida. Of course, Zombie. I don't know if everybody remembers Zombie, Scott Stevens. Of course, Von Franco's been a cool dude to me.
I'd love to get Von Franco on the show. That'd be really cool.
He's one of those guys. Like I like when he posts on my stuff. I'm like, I can't believe Von Franco's saying he likes my art.
I know. I'm looking at one of his models right now. I have sitting on my shelf. That would be so cool.
He's the cool of cool, man. So he's the guy. Still, you harken back to like the legends. Yeah, for sure. that dude is for sure the legend. But it's been very nice to me, even though I haven't had super interaction with him. But I'll take what I can get. So I'll definitely shout out to Von Franco. Gosh, I'm on the spot. I can't even think of. I'm totally can't even think of people right now. So I feel like shit.
All of them. All of them.
I gotta thank all of them. You know who you are.
Everyone that supports you, buys your art, buys your hats, buys your shirts.
Yeah,
any and all helps.
Man. They're the greatest. Of course, Ian Russell. Got to thank that dude.
Oh, of course.
And of course, Transmitters Studios, the guys that actually produced the Full Custom Garage Show on Motor Trend. Check it out. Cool cars getting built. Still doing it the old traditional way with no fancy equipment and stuff like that. And a super down to earth guy is the guy building cars by himself, and it's no bullshit. That guy is by himself, still banging out some really cool cars. So.
That is so awesome, man. Well,
thank you guys.
Absolutely, man. We will let you get back to your normal daily life and let our listeners get back to theirs. And all things custom, keep it cool.
Bing, bang, boom. See you next Tuesday.
Don't say see you next Tuesday.
I can poop anywhere.
We know.